afraid that you'll run out of patience. Trust me, I know how it feels to be hopelessly waiting. Sometimes I don't know if I can even change, but I'm still trying. So I'm sorry that you might have to see I'm not flawless. I promise that I'm facing my problems. If I'm falling too fast, will you catch me? Will you catch me before I crash?
Counting.
Heyo. Hello. Welcome. Look at that. Hey, it's working. Look, it got you on the green screen. Got me on the green screen. We have a special guest in person this week. It's exciting, but I'm sure you have quite a bit to catch up on. So let's start off with some news. Episode 52, by the way.
You know, you should have did was flip the background on one of us. That way it looks like we're in opposite sides of the or something.
Oh, brother, I still can. Do properties. Actually, no. Let's transform and let's flip horizontal. Boom. There we go. But yeah.
Ants. So,
Yeah.
you gonna do the intro?
The intro. What intro? I just did it.
The ladies and gentlemen intro.
You do that. That's your thing, not mine.
It's the guest responsibility.
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
Why don't we start out with news? I know you've got some stuff to talk about. You've had some events since our last podcast. You know, maybe Gen Con, maybe.
Well, I was thinking before that. But, oh yeah, I was trying to think of why I wasn't here 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I had to work overtime because of the monsoon.
Yeah.
I had to, I think, Dragon. And then last week, we were driving to Indianapolis to go to Gen Con, board game convention. Would definitely be an event that I'd like for Rum to go to, but it would just be extremely costly.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, I mean, we looked at that. Like, wasn't it like $3,000 or something for a fucking small little?
No, I don't even know how much the booth is. I just meant just for us.
Oh yeah.
Go down there because we'd have to be there for 4 days, haul enough materials to last 4 days.
Hey, can you center yourself while you're talking? You're a little off center. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Better. Thank you, sir. Anyway, but yeah, no, that's the plan for next year. We plan to go.
Well, we're not going next year. We might go in like 5 years.
Oh, really? Y'all aren't going to go next year?
I don't think there's enough new content to justify the cost.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I did the math. Granted,
Well,
I don't have to spend this much, but I added everything up. We spent $3,000.
I have an alternative for next year then.
Crazy.
Why don't we do
Just a shadow next to me?
Why don't we do PAX North in Seattle next year? Just
as bad.
We would have possibly a place to stay, or if anything, somebody we know to kind of take us around. Because my friend here, getting stationed in Bremerton, he just recently found out, which is why he's here, because he's transitioning to the new duty station. So he'll be in Washington State, near Seattle.
Yeah, but that's still flight money.
Yeah, true.
I spent like maybe $200 on gas. It cost me $600 a ticket times 3 to go to Washington.
True. But yeah, you had a good time, right? It was dope.
Yeah, I think until Grace is gone, we're going to start trying to do some more sightseeing type stuff over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Get her out in the world, see some things other than conventions every summer.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to see a few things. You get to see the St. Louis Arch and big giant. I didn't get to read the plaque, but it looked like some kind of war memorial fountain in the middle of Indianapolis downtown.
That's pretty sick.
Still a few things we got to see other than just the con. But still, $3,000 trip.
Listen, I mean,
pricey.
Y'all did kind of go crazy with the board games. I saw y'all's haul. If you haven't seen their haul, check out our Discord. He's got pictures posted.
And it's on our Facebook.
Yeah, and on our Facebook.
RUM-Gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody else I think bought a couple games. The other two couples bought 3-4 games each.
No.
About 25.
I definitely have a couple I want you to bring with you this weekend. I'm gonna try and convince the wife to let us leave Friday night, even if it's just late. We'll just leave Friday night.
Yeah, the more I thought about it, especially after this long drive and trip this weekend, I was like, man, I'd rather drive and sleep and wake up and just do the con, go do some shit around Dallas.
Yeah.
Because, man, it was 6 hours one way, then we stayed 6 hours in a hotel, then drove 6 hours more, then drove downtown, went to dinner, drove back, drove to the con. It was only 30 minutes into downtown. But then sat there and walked around for 3 hours, sweating.
Oh. This reminds me of my PAX experience. Because that's exactly how it was. I remember it was fucking awesome though. There was so much shit to look at, dude. A weekend wasn't enough.
Yeah, well, I agree. If we go to Gen Con again, I'm gonna go the entire time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at least, and I plan to take off Wednesday, drive the entire 10 hours one way, wake up, go to the con on Thursday, go to the con on Friday, Saturday. That was our plan this time, was to get there in time to go to the con on Thursday. But by the time it all worked out, we got out of dinner with 15 minutes till they closed, and we're like, well, shit.
Yeah.
In 2 days, just after 3 hours, I was exhausted from just walking and heat, people exposure, and it's about all I could do was to push it through for 3 hours, even though they're open from 10 to 6.
Yeah.
You got 8 hours a day, but it's exhausting.
Yeah, I remember my PAX trip. I spent pretty much the entire day there, from the moment they opened to the moment they closed. It was pretty insane. And the Airbnb I was staying, I remember going there, driving into Seattle I had my old, beat up 2001 Honda Accord with bald fucking tires on it. And it's, I'm in Seattle and it's pissing down rain, right? And so Seattle, if you don't know, if you've never been, it's a very hilly, up and down kind of fucking city. So you've got like these really fucking steep inclines. And so it's pissing down rain. I've got bald tires on my Honda, and I'm sitting on one of these hills, spinning my tires, trying to make it up this fucking hill. And then the fucking light turns red on me. So I have to stop on this fucking hill. Light turns green. I try and slowly ease on the gas to try and get some grip on my tires. It's not working. My car just starts sliding backwards. Thankfully, there's a guy in a truck with like a fucking grill guard. He saw what was happening and he was behind me, so he just fucking pushed up to my bumper and just pushed me up the fucking hill. I was like,
you're in a car that could be pushed like that nowadays.
I was like, I never want to come back to Seattle. This is horrible. But anyway, I think we will. Let's get into our conversation. We potentially have a lot to talk about today.
Potentially, I said news. I don't have much of them. Yeah, the Goat family went to Gen Con, and then the weekend before the monsoon that I had to work on, we went to what's it called, a Fair of the Heart, which is another thing that we'd like RUM-Gaming to go to. Much more in the cards than Gen Con is, but still a little pricey. You want to work out the King Sword. Yeah, it's like $400 in the summer and $900 in the winter. But they do 2 shows in Tulsa, 2 shows in Oklahoma City.
Okay. I did enjoy Tulsa. I definitely, next time we come out there, I want to go back into Tulsa and do some more stuff. It was cool.
Yeah,
but I remember that Irish pub that we went to. It was good. All right. Well, let me introduce our guest here. I got sitting here behind me real nice and quiet. I have behind me one of my high school buddies. We joined the Navy around the same time. He's been in 12 years now, right? I just did my measly 4. But yeah, sitting here behind me, we have FC1, hopefully soon to be Chief Margies.
We'll see. We'll see.
How do you feel good about it though, right?
I feel better than I did last year.
Yeah, that's always good. You'll find out in what, 10 days?
12 days.
12 days. Man, that's exciting.
Which for non-Navy folk, that's E5 and E6, right?
Yeah, he's in E5 right now. He's currently moving to E6. Yeah.
No, I'm E6 going on E7.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. E6 going on to E7. That's right. Yeah.
Hey, how long were you in? You don't even know your own ranks?
It's been a while. Yeah. So,
well, congratulations.
Tell the people
I only
about
made it to
yourself a
E4.
little bit. Yeah. I mean, I did make it to E4, but not technically and not in the Navy's eyes, but we won't talk about that.
Small technicalities.
Small technicalities. But so tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the people about your story.
Well, let's see. Got out of high school, joined the Navy immediately after 2 months of waiting. So started boot camp, July 30th?
Yeah.
2012?
Yeah. Because I went in October 30th. Yeah. I was in MEPS on Halloween. Yeah.
But yeah, from there.
2012. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been 12 years.
Yep.
12 years in a week. So, yeah. Joined 12 years ago. Been on 3 different ships, 4 different duty stations. Even though my duty list seems a lot longer than that.
What ships?
FFG 51, the Gary, which was decommissioned in 2015. The decommissioning process is so much fun.
That's what I hear.
Well, it depends on the boat, really.
Yeah. I've heard it's chill as fuck. Just about everybody that I've talked to has been like, oh yeah, it was chill as fuck.
After that, went to DDG 56, the John S. McCain out in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Left there early due to family reasons, and then went back to Cali for LSD 49, the USS Harper's Ferry.
Harper's Ferry.
Yep, named after
Harper's
the very
Ferry?
town in West Virginia.
Yeah, Harper's Ferry.
After that, I went to the Mid-Atlantic Regional Maintenance Center in Virginia, and now, as you know, I am on my way to Washington.
Yeah, going to be on first time on a carrier. The carrier life. I think I've just never been on a carrier, but I think you'd like it. From everything that I've heard, like, yeah, it sucks you're on a carrier, but if anything, you're on a carrier at least.
As the
As
old
long as
saying
you're not on the
goes,
flight deck.
choose your rate, choose your fate.
Yeah.
As a combat systems guy, as a weapons guy, like, I'm literally just doing my job, and that's it.
No. You better hope you don't get a bunk under the flight deck. That's all I gotta say.
We'll see. I don't know. I have a habit of sleeping in my mounts, so we'll see. I can tell you right now, rack here, flight deck here, I'm sleeping in my mount.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we've had a lot of discussions between, you and I, Goat, about, prior time, and you obviously were out of the military before either of us even joined, and things have changed.
Which is
from your
weird
time
because I was trying to remember that timeline. I swore you joined like as I was getting out or right before or something. I don't know.
It may have been like right after. I feel like you were already out when I joined. I joined in 2012.
Yeah, in October 2010. Well, 2012, I was living up here. Like,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, because I remember helping you
Memories are
move
hard.
out of your apartment to move up there
Yeah,
while before I was in the Navy.
yeah. I guess you're
Yeah.
still in like high school at that point.
Yeah.
When did you graduate?
2012.
Jeez,
Yeah. The year we graduated, we joined the Navy.
I was out of the army
Yeah.
for 2 years before you even graduated.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've had that comparison, right, between your time and my time. And now that I've been out, like, talking to him, he's been staying with me for, a few days now. Just the conversations that we've had, it's changed a lot, even from when I was in, which has only been 6 years. Yeah. No, 8 years. Yeah, 8 years for me.
Time's flying.
You know what's funny? The funniest change to me was, I couldn't have re-enlisted if I wanted to. I got honorably discharged, but it was because of higher tenure. I was at my rate for too long, right? And so I couldn't re-enlist because I just didn't advance fast enough. I found out that
Just
6
weird
months
because the
ago.
army doesn't even do that.
Yeah, 6 months ago or so, the Navy got rid of it. So it's like, oh, that's cool. At that time, dude, I don't even know if I would have re-enlisted given the opportunity. I really don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Which is crazy because you were only in for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they kick you the fuck out
Well,
after such a short time.
but here's what happened, right? I came in undesignated, which is a big fucking problem on its own. So I didn't even have a rate, so I couldn't even test for my first 2 years. I couldn't even test to rank up. Once I hit my rate, I had no experience at all in that field, only by what I could read in books. I had no hands-on experience at all whatsoever. So I'm over here trying to take a test for a rate that I've never done before, never even been trained on before. So I obviously don't get it the first time around. The second time around, after I go to school and have had some on-hand training, I get it, but I get NJP'd, and because I was in the time frame of the interim where you're technically, you're considered, an E4, but technically you're not. You have to wait a few months for the change the process and everything like that. And so I got NJP'd in that little trial period. So when they busted me down a rank, They didn't bust me down from an E4 to an E3. They busted me down from an E3 to an E2. So I was 4 years in the Navy and I was an E2. That's tenure.
Gotta stop slacking.
Yeah, my fault. You know?
No, I wrote it to E4 and just stayed E4 out of mostly choice.
No.
Last 2 decisions was military police, who like get to work like extra hard to get approved to go to the board to go, or to the promotion board to become an E5.
Right.
They would pretty much would put, you know, they'd have X amount of slots that they could send people to the board, and they're like, oh no, we're sending our 5 NPs this month. Maybe next month you can. Then maybe next month. And well, you weren't the highest on the PT score this month, so maybe next month. Like, dude,
whose fucking dick do I have to suck?
And then after a while, you know, that's when I kind of made that decision that I was just going to be getting out, and I was like, I don't even care anymore.
No.
You know, I'm going to ride out these last 2 years, be the E4 mafia leader. It was a smooth last 2 years because I was treated equal, even though I didn't have the same rank.
Yeah. I have a question for somebody that's for someone that's currently in. People don't believe me.
What's up?
Okay, I already know the answer, but I want to hear it from somebody that's currently in that can tell me I'm not full of shit. The Filipino mafia is a thing.
So let me just go ahead and preface that everything that I say is of my own opinion and no way affiliated with the DoD or any organization for that matter. This is strictly just, you know, a simple conversation.
Sure. This is
I will neither confirm nor deny.
There we go. I think that's the answer, chat.
Again, I will neither confirm nor deny.
I will confirm, and let me tell you why, okay? Some of the best times I ever had in the Navy was with my Filipino friends. There were 5 of them, okay? And we used to go to a Filipino restaurant in Florida and watch the Pacquiao fights every time and get hammered and eat sisig, and it was the best time of my life.
I mean, that kind of stuff is everywhere. I mean, in Hawaii, you have those, you know, little Samoa cliques of people that are local.
Well, I mean, there were just a lot of Filipino people in the military, in my experience, like a lot. You know?
Yeah, I mean, me too. But I'm saying there was more than just that. Though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Stationed, you also had cliques from people that are stationed there.
Yeah. 100%.
Hawaiians and Germans. And...
Yeah. Have you ever run into anybody from your boot camp? Like
boot camp?
Yeah, from boot camp while you're like out and doing things. Both of you. That's a good
Oh,
question.
yeah,
I wouldn't even know if I did, dude. That was 20 goddamn years ago.
Let's see. I graduated boot camp on my birthday in 2012.
Yeah.
2 years later, I finally hit my first boat after going through all my schooling, and we were slated to go to RIM-PAC 2014. So the Rim of the Pacific exercises, where all of the, well, not all of them, but a lot of nations joined together and basically just converge in Hawaii and then play tactical war games with each other right outside of Hawaii. I ran into 4 people from boot camp that I knew there, and we all hung out and had fun.
Yeah, I mean, RIM-PAC is a little different though.
Like the movie Battleship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you never like were stationed with anybody from your boot camp.
Not until the next place I'm going to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a buddy of mine, he's on that boat. He's not there much longer, but he's like, oh, we're gonna make the fucking best of this.
Yeah. I had a group of friends when I was stationed in Florida. One of them, before I left Florida, she got orders to Whidbey, Washington, and I ended up getting the same orders. So it was really cool, like getting to this new command and being on this new base, like the furthest possible, like on the exact opposite side of the country from fucking Florida to Seattle. And having somebody I knew there, like I was, and then come to find out, another person. So 2 people from my prior command got orders to the same fucking base as me. So I was like, oh shit, I got to go with all my friends. This is fucking sick. Yeah, it was cool.
Dude, I graduated boot camp the summer of 2001.
How does it make you feel?
That's 23
We were
years ago.
babies.
Yeah, we were in elementary school, my guy.
I know. I'm like, all right, you remember anybody? Fuck no, I don't remember anybody. It was 23 damn years ago. Even if somebody knocked on my door today, it's like, I went to boot camp with you. I'd be like, prove it.
I have a couple of guys from my boot camp that I don't think I'll ever forget. One of them.
I mean, even
One of them was our what's the recruit lead? What are they called? The not the AROC. ARPOC, yeah. Our the recruit like barracks leader that the RDCs approve. He was the only one that they picked at the very beginning that held the job through the entirety of boot camp. This guy was incredible. He's such a great fucking dude. Motivated more than anybody I've ever met in my life, and I ran into him a couple of times. I'll never forget his name. His name's Jordan Searcy. He'll probably never see this, but if he does, there you go. Shout out, Jordan. Love you, bud.
shit, dude. Between my shitty memory and such a long time ago, it's like even the my number one battle buddy in boot camp. Like I don't even remember his name. Even if he walked up and introduced himself, I probably wouldn't recognize the name. Like I literally haven't thought about that name in 23 years. And there's a few people from like my schooling, like my bunkmate during my training, like the job training.
No.
Like that guy, I still couldn't tell you his name, but I might actually recognize him.
Yeah, if you saw him, you might be like, oh yeah, he looks familiar.
But more so, like I'd remember plenty of the people like that I was deployed with and stuff. People that I spent 6 months in a year with.
No.
I'd remember those people if they showed up on my door. But the randos I spent 6-8 weeks with and haven't seen since.
No. So.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about some of your experiences. Tell us what you do. What is it? What is the jobs of an FC1?
You really want to know?
Oh, I think they do. Now, obviously, our chat doesn't have any security clearances, so obviously can't divulge too much. But
Not going to get.
We could start with what's your MOS and what do you do?
yeah, well, he works on weapon systems.
I
So
work on one specific weapon.
yeah, a really, really fucking cool one in my opinion.
Yep.
One of the
is-
coolest ones on the ship.
So this FC1 specifically, this fire controlman first class does some CWIS, which translation is an acronym for close-in weapon system. It's basically just a giant 6-barreled Gatling gun that spews out a lot of rounds in a very short amount of time, with a nice radar capability to it. I mean, 20 millimeter rounds coming out anywhere between 3,000 to 4,500 rounds a minute. It's fun. It
Oh,
breaks
man.
a lot, but it's fun.
That's kind of the same as the isn't that the same as the anti-mortar gun? Or is it the same? It looks the same.
Yeah, isn't the main purpose to like shoot down incoming projectiles?
Yeah,
CWIS
that's what I've
is
seen
known
on
as the
on
ship's
land before.
Last line of defense.
Last line of defense. Yeah.
Yep.
No, we had those.
So
we had those
all
on our
else
bases in Iraq.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere, dude.
I call them land CWIS, or land whiz, if you will, but I think they're called CRAM. Yeah. Counter
Seen them
rocket
in action plenty of times.
artillery.
Yeah, that's definitely that's one gun that I've never seen in action. I've always wanted to in person.
Oh, it's great.
Man, you gotta send me some videos.
Why do
Next
that
time-
when I can just invite you for a Tiger Cruise?
Oh, that would be fun.
Fortunately, I heard that gun almost every night for a year straight.
But yeah, originally it was it wasn't as up to date as it is now. It's definitely gone through a lot of changes. Like, I mean, if you see here, you see those short barrels. We don't use those anymore because they're all shit, realistically. But the longer barrels provide for better targeting in a sense. Because once upon a time, it was just spray and pray.
I think I mean I've definitely seen videos of like the tracers from those things at night, dude.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool. It's just like laser beams, just.
Dude, I used to get
So, like-
woken up by that before I'd get waken up by the alarms to go take over.
So when y'all do like training exercises, do y'all like shoot like buoys and shit with it, or is that mainly for like other like guns?
It really depends on what we're doing.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go too deep into it, because again, I
yeah,
don't want to divulge anything that'll get me in trouble. Even though you could literally wiki CWIS and be like, oh, this is what it does.
yeah.
Like I said, it really does depend on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like there was on my first deployment, the counter drug ops deployment on my frigate. We got tasked with a hazard at sea. So captain got the order, hey, go take care of this. So we went over and we saw this capsized vessel. All right, cool. What did that mean for me? Load up CWIS and shoot it. So we loaded up CWIS. We loaded up the Mark 38 25 millimeter gun. And then we had the Coast Guard who was with us because they were the law enforcement for us.
The puddle pirates,
Yes.
knee deep navy as they call them.
Well, they're not even Department of Defense anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on.
They're Department of Homeland Security.
They are really
They are.
interesting. Okay, well, that's good to know.
Until wartime, then they come back to being DOD. But yeah, we had small arms. We had guys sitting there with rifles. We had guys sitting there with pistols. We had one guy with a 40 millimeter grenade launcher. That didn't get very far. But yeah, between the CWIS, the 25 Mike, and our 3-inch cannon that we had on board, we were just shooting this thing repeatedly. It was great.
Man,
It was. That's probably one of my more favorable memories as a CWIS tech. And I was only an E4 at the time.
man,
I'm like, this is what I get to do today. This is awesome.
that's fucking intense, dude. I wish I could have got to do some of that shit. Like, looking back on my time in the Navy, I didn't do dick. Like, the coolest thing about my career was the aircraft that I got to work on my last, like, 6 months. My last year, Yeah, that's fucking sick.
I mean, I'm kind of the same boat. I got a year and a half in Iraq, and people ask me like crazy stories. And like, look, man, I was a mechanic. Like, I rolled out on the truck every now and then, to do like patrols, but we're getting in like firefights every day or something. It's just
Yeah.
fixing the trucks and dodging mortars. Like, shit.
I will say this, going back to like training exercises and stuff. Sometimes we'll throw out what we call a killer tomato, which is basically just this giant red balloon that just sits on the water, and we'll use that for target practice.
Just release some pigeons.
Yeah, right. More times than not, when we're training, we're using our dummy rounds because.
What's the difference between dummy rounds and regular rounds? They're very clearly not blanks, right?
Rubber ball.
Rubber balls?
No.
No. Okay.
They just sit there. Basically, just a giant paperweight that just cycles through the system. Looks the exact same, but it doesn't fire.
Okay, so it is like a blank. Okay. Essentially, no. So like, there's no explosion. There's no like. There's
No sound,
No
no
sound. No nothing. It's just the barrel just going.
I'm trying to remember what the hell it's made out of. I can't.
So how? I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can divulge this, but how is this? How is it like controlled? Is it like a dude with a joystick? Have they got it to a point where like they're wearing like goggles? Like Is it just a guy sitting at a computer? Like, what does that look like? You don't have to give details.
I sit behind a computer with a joystick.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I always wondered like how that works. Is there any of it that's like automated? Does it like kind of just do its own thing, or does like everything have to be like manually input?
There is an automation to it, but we have to activate it first.
Got you. That's fucking cool. Because that's always so impressive to me. Because like I've seen a lot of videos of them in action, and like you see them like tracking something, and it like first fucking shot they're on it. You know, it's like that's fucking like there's no way that's just a dude that's just that fucking good every time.
I mean, I was always told it was automated.
With the way that the radar systems work on it, it's we get 2D and 3D capabilities. So
that's incredible. Yeah, it's definitely one of the most interesting and badass weapons I've seen on ships. There's some cool ones, but that one is just fucking wicked. It makes
it made me feel safer making that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that definitely leaves a lot to be said, right? There's a big difference between like offensive security and defensive security.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how effective they were, but at least provided that illusion of security.
Oh, I'm sure they were highly effective.
I mean,
I have no doubt.
Just interesting, you know, every mortar that was coming through, you'd hear that thing fucking wind up and just
yeah, I gotta see that shit in person at least once. Gotta figure out a way to do it.
Just sign back up and deploy, man.
Yeah, there you go. I was talking to Margies about this. Like, if I were to go back, if somebody were like, okay, like we'll take you back, what do you want? Like, I would have some conditions. It's like, first off, I'd want to come back as a first class, although would never happen because I don't have the knowledge or experience of a first class. And I'd want to be able to pick my own orders wherever I want to go.
And like I told you, orders, sure. You could get away with orders. Coming in as first class? Absolutely not.
No, wouldn't happen.
You might be able to come in as second class. You'd really have to know your shit.
Yeah. Well, that shit. If I needed to fucking take a test, I'd study for it. I'd ace that shit.
I mean, that's kind of how they do with pulling in civilian doctors into the military. They're like, hey, you know, what's your experience level here? And I mean, I've heard of commissions being automatic captain commanders.
No.
You know, just because they are that highly respected in their field. So they're not going to go and give them a giant, you know, pay cut starting them out as an 01. They're going to be like, we'll match you. Plus, doctors also get a bonus. Like my, what was it? My jaw surgeon, you know, he got his captain pay plus whatever additional medical pay. I don't know how this shit works. But then additionally, he also gets a bonus for how much he would actually make if he was a civilian doing it.
Yeah. So he's just fucking taking home bank. Because even a civilian doctor's making fucking six figures. And I can't imagine officers making less than six figures. There's no way that they make less.
Some off.
Not that high, no.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe like an 01, like an ensign or a fucking butter bar, fucking.
Yep. So you can look up the pay scales. I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
Not huge, but it's all based on time of service, what your job is.
Yeah. So what carrier are you going to? I don't think you said that yet.
I don't think I want to say that.
No?
Nope. Because I'm not there yet. Don't want to get intercepted.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Some job security, my friend.
Yeah. That is important. That is important. That is something that they put in your orders.
Called, like InfoSec.
Yeah. That is exactly what they call it. It's actually in your orders that you receive when you transfer.
Yeah. Don't go fucking telling everybody you did.
Yeah. Don't go posting on Facebook where the fuck you're going and all that shit. Well, you can say wait. Not
Till you
much
get out, then
You
you
already
can say
did.
everything
Yeah.
to an extent.
to an extent. You still can't talk about the final evolution in boot camp.
Nope.
I still
Navy.
laugh
Nope.
about had a guy in the army that lived in the apartment above me that was in intelligence. It's such awkward conversations with that guy. Even to this day, still can't tell me shit that he did.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some people that are like that. It's like, I was in the Navy. I fought for this country. Well, what'd you do? I can't tell you. Bullshit. So was I then. I just can't tell you.
No, I got a buddy of mine who just got out a few years back. He got medically retired. But he was another FC1, but he was a top secret FC1.
Oh,
So he cannot talk about the shit that he did.
yeah.
Yeah, because his shit was behind like dead man doors.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wish I could just be a fly on the wall. Like, I know I wouldn't talk about anything. I just want to know, I'm too curious.
I'm right there with you.
Man, I'm so excited to find out what goes on in a Chiefs mess.
Well, if I find out in a couple weeks, I'll let you know.
I've got a good feeling, man.
Hell yeah, man.
We can
Still
hope.
sometimes regret getting out though. After
Dude, honestly, me too. I'll be fair. Sometimes I do. Like, yeah. There's a lot of things I wish I could have done. Like, if I would have been able to stay in, I likely would have gotten sent to Japan. Yeah.
yeah, I would have liked to have seen more places. It was also just get more experience and whatnot. And the fact that like I could have retired at age like 38.
Yeah. That's what he's working on. 8 years left.
Yep.
8 years left, and you're done.
Instead, I'm 41 coming up soon and nowhere near retirement. So
You get
3
there.
years
Hey,
passed when I could have been retired.
Hey, but you know what? You finally got all your disability shit sorted out. So you're on the up and up.
Yeah.
You're on the up and up.
Yeah, but I would have had that and retirement.
I'll tell you what. I wish I would have known to put money into a 401k while I was in the Navy.
You didn't do TSP?
No.
See, I did TSP, but I ended up having to take it all out.
No, I did not.
That's something they like automatically sign you up for when you're in boot camp, though. What?
Yeah,
What
that's
did
what they
you
did for
do?
me, but it was also 20 years ago.
I don't know. Maybe I did. I just never cashed it out or never rolled it over. It was just fucking sitting
Maybe
there.
maybe you should make
You know, we
all.
can take a look at that later.
Yeah, well, maybe we have to take a look at that. I might have fucking $6,000
Yeah.
sitting for me or something. Who knows? Sitting on all
Track
this
is
fucking
sitting
money.
on a little nest egg.
Yeah. Hey, fuck it, man. I wonder if it's still active. Like it's still just sitting there collecting interest. Or
Probably.
I've already got another 401k, so I might just take cash it out, take half of it, put it into the one I've already got. Or if they're, okay, I have a question for you then. Do you know if they match contribution?
So they actually came out with something a few years back where whatever you put in, the Navy would also put in for you. I have to. It's
Is
called
it-
the BRS, Blended Retirement System.
Is it up to a certain percentage?
I don't know all the details off the top of my head. That's something I'd have to pull up instructions for.
Because I wish I'd have known more about this shit when that shit was going on. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
can't change it now, right?
For somebody
Yeah,
like
just
me,
grab
it's
that.
not good because I've already got so much invested into my TSP. Then if
Yeah.
I were to switch over to BRS, it would just
Yeah, knock everything out. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, I was trying to find something. Read.
All right, so I have a
Yeah,
question for you. I have a question for you. Best rate in the Navy, worst rate in the Navy. Go.
I mean, best rates obviously FC.
Okay. Okay.
There's
Listen,
there is
I was
no other job. Okay, well there are.
I was an aviation machinist, mate. Okay, I worked on aircraft engines, and I can tell you it was not the best rate.
Yeah. Like, if
Dude, our
again,
parents
completely
barely knew
opinion based,
much,
but nah. But from my perspective, yeah, FC best rate in the Navy,
Yeah.
because there is so much you can do, and there is so much you can do when you get out. Like as a CWIS tech, I work on like technically I have like 6 or 7 rates that I am working as on just my equipment alone.
Mhm.
You know, machinist, fucking navigation, weapons, electronics. Like there's a whole slew of things, and that's just as a CWIS tech. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, let alone all of like the leadership skills and the management skills and all of like the time management, structure, problem solving, conflict man, all the other fucking shit that you learn just being in the military. It makes it very valuable on any resume. Okay, well, so let me ask you this then. Maybe the best rate, worst rate is a shit question. Let me ask you this: what do you want to do when you get out?
Stay at home, scratch my ass.
Any thoughts about your career once you get out?
I've dabbled with the ideas a few times.
What?
Honestly, I could get out and go be a CWIS tech rep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah. I considered that too, because we're working on in Jacksonville, working supply with the LS. I dealt with a lot of the folks that work on the supply side of this block. So what? Just be a civilian contract? Anything else?
I'd be essentially for that. I would just be a CWIS tech, but as a civilian,
Yeah.
getting a lot more pay.
Yeah.
Like I had a buddy of mine that got out and became a CWIS contractor. He did it for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and granted, as a contractor, we're still somewhat subject to DoD stuff because government affiliation and whatnot. But he did a tour over in Afghanistan as a tech rep, and he came back loaded, and he's just chilling at home.
Well, I mean, where would you like do that kind of work? I mean, you would have to be anywhere there's a military base, obviously, right?
Yes and no.
No.
Like there's a spot in Kentucky, there's a spot in New Jersey, there's a spot in it's either New Mexico or Arizona, I can't remember.
What about Houston?
They don't have anything here.
This is based in San Antonio.
Not for me.
No.
There's also one in Corpus Christi too.
That's true. Yeah, there is.
And that's more up your alley.
That's fucking yeah. I didn't work on fighter jets or helicopters.
I thought about doing something similar about doing the whole like civilian deployments. It's like, man, if I didn't have a wife and a kid, I'd probably just live in Iraq as a civilian contractor. They're over there making
Between
6
danger
figures a
pay.
year, free lodging, free food.
Ribbons for your heart's content.
And not those tiny cans, the tall cans.
It's like
Or no, vice versa. Not the tall, the tinies. The tiny cans are.
Yeah, like little bitty fucking shits.
But let me tell you, when it's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning and you're on watch, you are absolutely bored out of your mind trying to stay awake. A rip comes in handy.
So let's talk about some of your travel. Where have you been? What's some of your favorite places that you've been in your time? And I know Ghost's been to some cool places. I didn't fucking go anywhere, so I don't have shit to input on that. But
So, obviously, we started out stationed in Chicago.
Yeah.
From there, I went to San Diego, decommissioned, went to Japan, left Japan, went to Cali for third ship, left Cali, went to Virginia, leaving Virginia, going to Washington. On my first boat, we pulled into Guatemala, and we pulled into Panama. And then we pulled into Panama, and Panama, and Panama. Did I mention Panama, 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 and Panama? Like that was our second home for that deployment.
Oh my goodness, dude.
I'm not gonna lie though, Panama City, it's nice.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, hell, I was with a buddy of mine and another FC3 at the time, and we were just walking around the city. Granted, you know, when you pull into a foreign port, you have the NCIS briefs. Hey, don't go to these areas. We didn't go to those areas because, you know, junior guy don't want to get in trouble. And then you have the other junior guys that's like, oh, I'm gonna bend the rules. No. But we found a hole in the wall Italian restaurant. Like, I no shit kidding, hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, the place was just a courtyard converted restaurant. Best sangria I've ever had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I remember when I was stationed in Washington, there was this Japanese restaurant right outside base. And maybe it was just because I was in Washington State and there's really wasn't a whole lot of cultural food around. There was one Mexican food place. One. Right?
Yeah.
And it was horrible. Right? But this Japanese place, dude, I knew it was good because the first time I went in there, they have a thing of like just hot jasmine tea. Their cups don't have handles on them and it's free. It doesn't matter what you eat. If you order anything or not, you can come in, you can get some hot tea. And yeah, I would eat there frequently. Get the chicken katsu and the fucking pork katsu. Like, oh my God. Yeah, my parents should have taught me about 401k and IRAs. Yeah, I didn't know about all that stuff, you know, just graduating high school.
Yeah, I answered it earlier. I said, yeah, well, that would have required our parents to understand what it was at the time.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Hell, my kid's about to be an adult, and I still don't know what it is. I barely understand 401k.
I've gained a much deeper understanding of what it is and how it works, and I'm glad for it. I really am. Like, I took the time to like research it, and matter of fact, I think they talked about it a lot in TAPS, your transition assistance program that every service member has to go through before they get out of the military. And actually, you know what? No, it wasn't TAPS. You know what it was? I went to My Computer Career. It's an online IT and cybersecurity school. I learned about it there. They have like an entire course in that program that's based around you know, how to work as an independent contractor. So they teach you, you know, how to, you know, write off things for taxes for business expense. They teach you how 401k works. They teach you how, you know, how you can, you know, build your own business around yourself, basically, you know, have your own insurance, have your own 401k and retirement, and still, you know, be your own boss, make your own hours, and be an independent contractor. That's where I learned about 401ks. Yeah. It's important shit to learn if you don't know about it.
Gotcha.
Jumping back on the food conversation real quick.
Yeah. You know, I can always talk about food.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned it during any of other scenes, but you're talking about like the random Italian place and the random Japanese place in Germany. There was a Thai food restaurant that was owned by like a German guy, but all the cooks and stuff are from Thailand. Once a year, they'd shut the whole place down for a week and go back to Thailand.
That's pretty cool.
That was some of the best food ever. Like afterwards, they was bringing like a shot of Mai Tai.
Yeah.
Instead of like an amaretto shot like you get at some restaurants.
Yeah.
It was a Mai Tai shot.
What was your favorite thing to get at the Thai restaurant?
Sweet and sour duck.
Sweet and sour duck. I think I just fuck with pad thai, to be honest with you, and curry. I like Thai curry a lot.
There was a Thai place right outside of the Norfolk base. Can't remember what it's called, but I used to go there for lunch. I even took my junior guys there, you know, because it was getting close for me to go. I was like, hey guys, you know, I just want to take you out for lunch, you know, just one last little camaraderie thing.
Yeah.
And I would always get the same thing every time I went, and that was the drunk noodles with chicken and an order of their vegetable tempura.
Oh, I love me some vegetable tempura. I tried dim sum for the first time ever, about a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite thing about dim sum was just the Chinese broccoli. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, the dim sum was great. Like, the you know, the soup buns and the bao and everything was awesome. But something about the vegetables just fucking knocked it out of the park.
I got you.
What about Japan? Talk to me about Japan. My chat knows, Goat knows, everybody who knows me longer than 20 minutes knows I'm obsessed with Japan.
So you want to know about Japan?
I do, very much so.
Let me tell you, there is a reason why I tried to go back.
Reason why I've been trying to go for years.
It just, the atmosphere, it's so clean. Everybody there that isn't like over the age of 65 and holding a grudge, they're all friendly.
Yeah.
You know, and they will do their best to speak English to you if you know, approach them. Like, I never had any issues while I was there. Even after I broke my leg while I was there, like, I just tried standing in the corner on the train.
Mhm.
You know, just little old me with my crutches, and there were two old ladies that were just like, oh, here, take the seat. And I was like, no, it's okay, please, Bob. And they're like, no, take the seat. And I was like, okay.
How was navigating around in Japan? Like, do you know any Japanese? Like, can you read it? Can you speak any of it? Like, obviously, other than just like symbol, like phrases and things.
Outside of the basic stuff that they taught me at what was essentially Indoc for the area, like, I picked up on very, very little on speaking, but if I was able to recognize a symbol or a certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Set pattern.
Yeah,
of,
character set.
yeah. You know, I was able to navigate it a little better. Granted, I also had a Japanese iPhone, and it came with a Japanese map that could translate to English and guide me everywhere that I needed to go.
Fair.
But it was relatively easy.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, you've seen me watch him on YouTube a lot, but I've been following really closely this baseball player. His name's Trevor Bauer. He played in the MLB for a long time. He's a Cy Young winner. And he was caught up in a bunch of controversy. There was a lot of legal stuff happened. Turns out he was completely innocent of everything. As a matter of fact, the person that accused him is now facing their own charges and prison time for doing so. Right. MLB won't sign him back, but he's playing in other places. Right now, he's currently playing in Mexico for their Mexican league. And he's fucking incredible. But before that, he was playing in Japan. And he's one of the only big time baseball players that vlogs almost his entire life. He's very transparent about everything, and so he's he talks about his time in Japan a lot, and from somebody who didn't to just move to Japan to play baseball. It was pretty cool to see how easily he was able to kind of navigate and get around, and and it's that was always one thing that kind of intimidated me about going to Japan. It's fuck, I'm not gonna know where the fuck to go, how to get anything. I'm not gonna be able to talk to anybody or read anything. But looking at the vlogs and kind of seeing through other people's eyes, it's they accommodate English speakers pretty fucking well, and that's cool. Because I was of the impression, I was okay, well, when I go to Japan, I'm gonna hire a fucking interpreter guide, $200 a day. They're just gonna follow us around and show us shit and translate for us. It's good to know that I don't need that shit.
Yeah, no, you
Nobody's trying to
definitely
major
don't
city
need that.
or town.
Tokyo, baby. Tokyo and Kyoto are the two big ones that I have to get. I would love to go to Hokkaido. I'd love to go to Osaka, but if I don't make it there, as long as I go to Tokyo and Kyoto, I don't care.
So from
I
my
will tell you
experience,
this,
my
if you-
travels, as long as you're in a major, semi-bigger town, worry about needing a trans.
Yeah.
A sunrise and a sunset in Okinawa is 100%. Like people here, they're like, "Oh, look at the New York skyline. You know, watch the sunrise, watch the sunset. You can just see the city." An Oki sunrise and sunset has New York's beat by miles.
Oh, really?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And you kind of you're from New York, right? We haven't really talked about your history. You started at high school. What about your history? Tell the people before high school. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I was born in New York, but I was growing up here.
Let's get deep.
Yeah, let's get deep. Yeah.
How deep you want to go?
Well, okay, let's start from the beginning. It's 9:30. We got 30 minutes.
It was a crisp Tuesday morning when I was conceived.
Yeah, let's start with conception. Let's start there. No. I'm kidding.
Jeez.
What made you want to join the military? Let's start with something more.
Yeah. What made you want to join the military? That's a good question. Because my answer is pretty easy. I'll give you mine after you give me yours because I've never told you mine.
The answer I always told people was because I wanted to follow in my uncle's footsteps because I looked up to him a lot as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he used to come visit the States back in the early 2000s, you know, and he would bring gifts from where he was stationed. And I was like, this is really cool. And yes, that statement does still hold true that I did join because of some role modeling from him. But to be 150,000% transparent, it was to absolutely get away from my mother.
That's yeah. I mean, I guess that's fair. Knowing about what we know about what I know about your mother. You know, I love the woman to death, and I know you do too. But good God,
You know, even if you didn't have something to run away from, that same reasoning is almost the reasoning I'm trying to give my kid, where it's like, look, this is the easiest way for you to go figure out how to be an adult.
yeah,
You'll be able to leave the house, not have to worry about having a place to stay or food to eat. Like, you'll have food to eat, you'll have a place to stay.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what to do.
They'll tell you what
But
to
you get
wear.
to get the
You
fuck out of
literally
the
don't have
house.
to think
You get
for
away from
yourself.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can still get to go practice being an adult
Yeah,
with supervision that isn't your fucking parent.
The other reason I didn't really talk about much, which you could probably understand once I say it, is because I wanted to make my dad proud. Because growing up with him, you know, I always thought that my sister was his favorite.
yeah.
So I always had to try my best to be this bright and shining star. And every time I tried, I felt like I just ended up falling flat.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to go do something that's really ballsy.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Something that he deems to be masculine.
Yeah, I'm
you
gonna
know?
go literally change my fucking life, man. Yeah, it's funny because I see like these TikToks come across my feed, of this guy in the Marines. He's a recruiter, and he goes through and he posts like interactions with people who are kind of on the fence about joining, and he's, you know, selling the military to him, and it's like, man, you know. Looking at this guy, it's like recruiters really are the ultimate salesman because they are really selling you a dumpster fire, but at the same time, they're not lying about it either. Like they're going to tell you that it'll change your life. They're going to tell you that it's going to, you know, make you a better, stronger person, and that none of that is untrue. None of that is false.
And
You
confirm.
just change the verbiage after you get out. Instead of it's going to change you, you're going to learn to embrace the suck,
That's right.
and it's
Yeah,
going to make you a better person.
yeah, that's right. Once the quicker you can learn to embrace the suck, the easier your life gets, dude.
Some of your best friends are made by trauma bonding.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's those things you can't tell somebody to recruit them though.
So my reason
Afterwards,
for
though,
joining,
you're like, that was great.
my reason for joining was partially Partially because I grew up with, military members all around me.
Yeah.
Jay, he was in the Army. My uncle was in the Navy. My grandpa was in the Air Force. Like, my whole family. But to be honest with you, if you had asked me the day before I signed that paperwork, I would have told you I respect our troops and they have my support 100%, but I'll never be one. The reason I joined is because I went with you to the fucking recruiting office so that we could hang out. We had graduated from high school. I wanted to chill with him. And he was like, yeah, we'll hang out. I got to go run by my recruiting office real quick. Before we can do that, you want to come? I was like, ah, fuck it. That's fine. That's cool. We'll go. And then I start fucking sitting down with these people. And they fucking hook, line, and sinker my ass, dude. They fucking hook, line, and sinkered my ass, dude. I called my dad that fucking day. You were there.
I was.
Yep. Pretty fucking crazy. Yeah, I would if he hadn't taken me to the recruiting office, I wouldn't have been in the military. I would have never joined. That's a fucking fact. Yeah, fact. If I would have never gone, if I wouldn't have gone with you to that recruiting station, I would have probably never joined the military.
You never know.
Yeah, true. The fact that I did join probably tells me that I probably would have joined it if even the opportunity presented itself. Admittedly, I was talking to the recruiters at the high school too.
That was a little bit more simpler. My grandpa was in the Army, so I always thought that was cool. But he wasn't like a huge influence. I was one of those kids that just thought being a soldier would be badass.
No.
Like, the moment the recruiter came to school, he like started to give me a skill, and I was just like, hang on. You can just stop right there. Where my sign? You don't even want to hear about it? No. We're good.
Yeah, I know what I need.
I've been waiting for this day.
It's really funny though, because like you were talking about when we were in high school and we had those recruiters come in. Yeah. I was dead set on going Air Force. And part of me is like, damn, I wonder how much better my life would be if I joined the Air Force.
It's funny because I tossed around the idea of joining the Air Force too, because originally I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah.
Originally, right? But I found out shortly after expressing that the Navy has a better aviation program. And I kind of didn't want to be a bitch.
I can tell you right now, if you had, I would have definitely given you so much shit.
That's shit, dude. If I were in my
Not
fucking
in my high school, let's say.
No, we didn't have JROTC either.
We did.
It was difficult
we
to
did
get
when we
into.
were freshmen, but then they just like completely got rid of the program.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't held at that school. Like they were having to like go like during the middle of the school day to another fucking school and come back.
Yeah, no, I wasn't about it.
Yeah.
I tried to make one my senior year.
Oh,
Or I
did
tried
you?
to help some people make one. Yeah. We basically started making a military club, and then we were hoping if we got enough interest that we'd get sponsored BJR.
Definitely would have helped.
That's how I
me
met
out
Crystal,
when I
actually. Ironically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually
Her and
didn't.
her
I actually
friend
don't know
are
that
gonna
story.
Join our... Well, because the story how we got together was technically because of we were supposed to go on a double date, and the other two bounced out, and
That's right. Yeah,
we
yeah.
both showed up. But as far as how was we met was actually because her and that same friend that was supposed to go to the movies were trying to join that military club. That's how I met them.
I actually didn't know that. That's a story I haven't heard before.
Yeah, random fact.
I'll tell you what though, if I was 18 again and just graduating high school, I'd join the Space Force. I don't give a fuck. 100% I'd join the Space Force. That sounds dope, dude. Their insignia is
Air
fucking
Force.
sick, dude. I don't give a shit, dude. The Space Force insignia is dope.
Fuck, dude. If I go back in time and talk to myself, well, like, look, you're joining the Air Force and you're staying in for at least 20 years. Right?
That's true. If I'd have joined the Air Force, I'd probably still be in.
Like after that 20 years, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yep. Yep.
You can get stationed in Alaska with almost any branch, as far as I know. There's
Yeah,
Air Force
yeah.
and Army. I'm pretty sure there's Marines. I don't know about Navy.
I'm sure there's Navy, dude. Navy's got to go everywhere. I had a friend of mine who was stationed in fucking Scotland. Yeah. He was on like one of those like super small like 50-man crew fucking boats. He said he loved every minute of it. He was like, dude, it's like such a tiny little small knit fucking community, dude. Like 50 fucking people, you know, just chilling in Scotland. It's like, yeah, that's
just confirmed.
sick.
Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marines all have bases.
Yeah. Bases.
There's 9 military bases, actually. 3
Holy
Air
shit.
Force, 3 Army, and another 3 are Coast Guard bases.
Yeah, those don't count.
Goddamn knee-deep Navy. Goat, you got any questions for him?
Have you ever killed a man?
No.
Has your Sea Whiz ever killed a man?
No.
No. Goat, have you ever killed a man?
Not that I know of.
Nothing I know. Not on purpose.
Have you? Well, I don't know how the Navy works. Do you actually have like deployments, or is being on the ship considered a deployment?
No. Yes, the Navy does have deployments. So you can get stationed to a ship and still get deployed. Right? So your duty station is your ship, and then that ship goes on deployment. The same thing for me. Like even on shore duty. Well, not shore duty, but even for me in the aviation sector, like I was my squadron was home based and would be out in Washington, and then we would deploy out to other places. So
yeah, it's like in the Army, deployment means like I was in Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait.
Yeah,
Weird place.
Yeah, so like for me, we would go. You know, our home would be. So we would deploy to, a couple of different locations. It would be either Japan. There would be some in Middle East as well. I can't exactly. Bahrain. And those were like the two like main deployments, and they would be, 6 to 8 months, depending. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, just depending on whatever the fucking Navy wants. And then you would come back, and then you'd stay 6 to 8 months back home, or could be longer, could be shorter, just depending on what the fucking Navy needs. And then within those deployments, at least for aviation and my squadron, they would send out smaller detachments to other places. So like if you were, in Bahrain, there was a possibility you could be sent on like a small detachment to go out and stay in like Djibouti for like a month or two.
Yeah, I mean, we had things like that too, where they went to like the Philippines and shit for like a couple months at a time. There's always small little missions or whatever you call them that are really like deployments. Like, I guess when I think of deployment, I think of like, combat zone deployment.
Yeah. From my experience, and now I'm sure FC1 could probably correct me, but from my experience with boats, you're kind of assigned like a hemisphere, right? And that's just where you go. Like you can deploy to pretty much anywhere in like your sector of the world. So just depending on what boat you're on, what sector your boat is assigned to, depends on really where you can deploy to. But it could theoretically be anywhere.
Yes and no. So when you're on a boat and you're deployed, your captain's boss is going to say, hey, we're gearing up for deployment. We're going to send you to, we'll call it Sector Orange. And you go, you do everything that you're required to do for your mission in Sector Orange. And wherever you should pull in or whatever other thing should pop up, should be like, hey, this is captain's going to request from his boss, hey, here's what we're going to do. Can we get your permission? Okay, cool. Go right ahead. Like every time for my first deployment, we were allotted 3.5 days of liberty for every 3 weeks that we were out. So we'd be out for 3 weeks, we'd be in for 3 days. We'd be out for 3 weeks, we'd be in for 4 days. We'd be out for so on and so forth.
Right. And so was that out to, well, because yeah, you weren't on a carrier, so your deployments weren't for like months. Your outings weren't for like month-long outings.
Yes, they were.
Oh, they were.
They absolutely were.
Okay, so you would like, so you would have the home port of your boat, right? And then you would deploy out to somewhere else, Sector Orange, and then you would find a port there, go out for 3 weeks, Liberty for 3 days in that port, go out for 3 weeks again, Liberty for 3 days in that port, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. How do deployments work for you?
Me?
Yeah.
Fuck. Go into Iraq, stay in Iraq for a year, work 7 days a week for a year, get to come home for a week.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, like, for
You're talking
my...
about 3 days back, 3 weeks out. Like, fuck you, man. I went for fucking 6 months out, come back for a week, go back for 6 more months.
Yeah, yeah.
Living in a tent.
Yeah, no, the Navy doesn't
An air
work like
conditioned
that.
tent. Still.
The Navy rarely does year-long. Well, I wouldn't say rarely. Year-long deployment.
Really depends on what's going on in the world.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure there's plenty of them going on.
The combat deployments in the Army were always like 6 months to a year, depending on what your company did. So like when I was with the military police, so they were out there for a year to do patrols and stuff. When I went the first time, I went with a fuel line company laying fuel line, and we were out there for 6 to 12 months. It was just whenever we got the job done.
Yeah.
And we knocked the fucking job out in 6 months and came back home. But it could have been up to a year.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what your job is. But on average, it's at least 6 months generally.
Adam, 12. Yeah, I am over here laughing because my deployment is even different from even more different from a boat. Like the way that it works for my aircraft, it's different for helicopters and fighter aircraft because they can be on boats and carriers. My aircraft is too big for that. So the way that our deployments would work is, like I said, we would get deployed. They would send, handful of aircraft to Japan. They'd send a handful of aircraft to Bahrain, and then they'd split the squadron and send personnel to each location. And that detachment would stay in Japan basically and maintenance the birds there, do the flights there. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes they would have to send a bird out to somewhere else for a week or two for some stuff out there, and so they would send a couple of people, ADs included, a couple of ADs, couple of AEs, just everybody necessary to work on that aircraft if anything were to happen. And go out for
all our equipment too. We just brought it all with us. Mudslide.
yeah, we followed the equipment, but we didn't have to go out for 3 weeks and come back in for the 3 days. It's like, no, we were there. You just there, staying at the hotel or wherever they had the lodging at. Very different.
We need to bust out pictures for one of our shows so we can do some Iraq 2009 deployment photo showing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I actually have some from 2003 one as well. I'll have to scan those in.
Yeah.
Those are all actually taken on a camera and printed out of water.
Yeah. I will say the orders that I ended up getting for Woodby Allen, my aircraft, if you ask any aviation machinist mate, that's the dream. It's the dream. Because just the way that the deployments work and everything like that is just so different from any other aircraft. It's so much more chill because, I mean, each squadron only has maybe 5 or 6 birds. Whereas, you're looking at, F-18s, they've got, 7, 8, 10, sometimes 12 fucking aircraft under their squadron. So everything is like super close knit. There's, 6 to 10 people in every shop, AEs, ADs, AOs, ordnancemen, fucking. Dude, they are a different breed. They're like, they're like grunts of the aviation world. Just fucking boneheads.
They really are. Like,
Just fucking unga bunga, blow shit up, let me play with bombs, fucking boneheads, dude.
yeah. And for me, being a surface guy, my equivalent is a gunner's mate, and a gunner's mate's one of the original rates for the Navy.
Yep.
And working with gunner mates, yeah, I've got some questionably intelligent ones. Some a lot better than others, but like you compare my gunner's mates to AOs, you're looking at night and day. I've got gunner's mates that are like, yeah, these are my guns, these are my systems, this is how we do shit, AB all through YZ. Okay, cool. And then I look at AOs and I just look at them and it's like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, fucking idiots.
Did you have a stroke?
Yeah, like the AOs are like, they're like their own little department of the Navy within the Navy. Like they have their own fucking rules, like their own fucking policies, and nobody fucks with them. Like they just do their thing.
Oh, I am going to fuck with them so hard.
I considered being a gunner's mate.
It's funny because so did I.
Yeah.
When I went to MEPS and I was doing my paperwork to pick what job I was going to do, originally I wanted to join to be a CS, culinary specialist.
Yeah, me too.
Because I wanted, 1, I like food. 2, my uncle was the CS, so maybe there are some khaki level individuals that may know my uncle that would then be able to help me out too, which is actually funny. I got another story for that, but that's for later. And they were like, no, you're too smart to be a CS. I was like, what the fuck?
Yep. I scored well enough on the ASVAB. I could have gotten any fucking job I want. I could have been a nuke if I wanted to.
Same.
Yeah. I needed your person whenever I was getting my ASVAB scored.
Why?
I scored like a 110, and like the highest you can get is a 120.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It was literally like years ago. I could literally have chose any job. I could have been a doctor or something if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally told us like, anything to do with Humvees, because I was 17 years old at the fucking time. And they're like, oh, well, you could be a mechanic. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I literally could have been anything. I wish somebody would have said, like, look, motherfucker, you're too goddamn smart to be a goddamn bullshit fucking Humvee mechanic.
Yeah. I was the same thing. I wanted to be a fucking CS. Like, no, you're too smart. I was like, okay, well, I want to work on jets. And they're like, well, we don't have anything available for that, but you can go on designated, and you can do everything aviation. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I want to do everything aviation. The fuckers lied to me, dude. That means they let me join without a job. So I got to spend my first 2 years in the Navy just doing whatever the Navy needed me to do.
Yeah, being the bitch working person.
Yeah. So I wanted to work on jets. I'm an aviation packed airman, right? And they have me working supply. I was pissed.
Yeah.
And they rationalized it. Oh, well, aviation because you're working with helo squadrons. I was like, I'm doing supply on shore duty, not even attached to a helo squadron. I'm attached to the base. So there was no deployment. It was shore duty, my first duty station. And then my second duty station, right? I get there right before they get back from deployment, and I get out of the Navy right as they go on deployment. So I literally got to go nowhere.
not entirely true. You got to leave home and
I got to go to Florida and fucking Washington. What do you fucking do? I went to
Hey,
fucking.
you got to experience being an adult, right?
I went to Daytona once while I was in Florida to see Taryn for like a couple of hours and then drove back. Yeah. But with that being
I
said,
can't say the same. I went to Hawaii and Germany and was deployed to Iraq.
yeah, you got to go see places. But with that being said, Margies, thank you so much for joining us on the stream tonight. Having the input of somebody who's currently in is definitely a change of pace from us, the fucking salty old dog. Even though me and you are the same age, but whatever.
I got more salt than you, though.
Yeah, you definitely have way more. You're fucking way crustier than I am. But anyway, guys, you know the drill. If you haven't already, check out our Discord, our Facebook, our YouTube, our website. If you are an Amazon Prime member, make sure you use that. Link your Twitch. Get the free Twitch Prime sub. We appreciate it if you use it on us. It is free for you. Every Twitch Prime sub you use takes money out of Jeffrey Bezos' pocket, so he can't make another penis-shaped rocket. It's a fucking cause I firmly believe in. So you don't have to use it on us, but make sure you use it. And I hope everyone has a wonderful night. And we will see you, tomorrow for Goat Stream. What are you playing tomorrow, Goat?
And try and convince people like the guy behind you to sign up for their free 3D print.
That's true. Yeah, if you are a veteran, sign up on our website. You get a free 3D print. Make sure you do that. Anything you want. If you can find it on Thingiverse, or if you can find an STL, we can print it. So make sure you go check that out.
There's park mode right now, so we need something.
Yeah, we need some work. So get on that. And again, what were you playing? You didn't say what you were playing.
Just a combination.
Combination. Once human, a little bit of WoW, maybe.
Yeah, once again, potentially, because there's a little bit of new content that was released today, but not much.
No.
And then I decided that I'm going to be playing a shaman for the Warcraft expansion.
Oh, okay. Well, if you need some advice on Shaman, let me know.
Yeah, I've been gearing that up. I've got it mostly geared through the new event that's going. I'd still like to go back and play some of that new 8-man Dead by Daylight. Like I played it that one night and I haven't.
That does sound interesting. I might have to hop in with you on that.
Yeah. Get a night of it if you want.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jet, I appreciate everyone hanging out. Oh, yeah. What you got?
Forget, we're going to be at QuakeCon this weekend.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody's in
QuakeCon.
Dallas and wants to come swing by.
Yeah. If you're going to be in the Dallas DFW area, QuakeCon's going on starting tomorrow, actually, going until Sunday. We will be there Saturday.
Okay.
So if you're in Dallas, come swing by, come say hi. Yeah, I think
Shoot
that's
us
it.
a message and we can coordinate.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you join our Discord so you can get a hold of us. Everyone have a wonderful night, and we will see you tomorrow.
Good night. Thanks for being our guest.
Yes. Once again, thank you, FC1. Hopefully, Chief Margie's here soon. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Stay focused, man, I gotta go. Can't be going backwards, I can't be going slow. Gotta take the lead and I gotta steal the show. It's a straight up madness, you know how we roll. Straight up madness, you know how we roll.